history that we were all taught growing up is wrong. My name is Scott Wolter, and I'm a forensic geologist. There's a hidden history in this country that nobody knows about. There are pyramids here, chambers, tombs, inscriptions. They're all over this country. We're going to investigate these artifacts and sites, and we're going to get to the truth. Sometimes history isn't what we've been told. Rhode Island is the smallest U.S. state, but home to one of America's biggest mysteries, the Newport Tower. 28 feet tall and made of thousands of intricately placed stones. No one knows who built it, when, or why. Some people think it's a colonial-era windmill or watchtower, but I don't think it looks anything like colonial architecture. I think it's proof an ancient group of explorers sailed here from Europe in the 1300s. They're called the Knights Templar. The Order of the Knights Templar was created by the Catholic Church in the 12th century to protect Jerusalem during the Crusades. But during that time, they became increasingly powerful, too powerful according to the King of France. He banned the order and had many of the knights executed. But others are said to have fled with something that I think is very important to Christian beliefs: the Holy Grail. The Grail is thought to be the cup that Jesus drank from at the Last Supper, or perhaps symbolized hidden secrets. I think the Templars brought the Grail to North America, and the Newport Tower is proof that they were here. It's an explosive theory, and it's brought me head-to-head with academics and experts like Jim Egan, curator of the Newport Tower Museum and an authority on the structure. If I can convince Jim that I'm right, then maybe academics can be convinced too. This is, no question, my favorite pre-Columbian site in North America.
Pre-Columbian? You still into that Templar thing?
Yes, I definitely am. And, I mean, come on, Jim, take a look at it. They built many churches in Europe exactly like this.
Oh, you agree? Okay.
And you got the round cylinder sitting on 8 round, heavy columns, equally spaced, the round Romanesque arches, and the capstone ledges clearly for structural support for a first-story round ambulatory all around the building. It's exactly identical to what they built in the 12th century, and they built it here, of course. There are many churches in Europe with connections to the Templars. They incorporate architectural elements also found in the Newport Tower, and they were built at the time when the Templars were around. Mellifont Abbey in Ireland, the round churches throughout Bornholm in Denmark, and the Cambridge Round Church in England. But Jim Egan has a different idea.
Everyone comes to the tower with their own theory, but I studied Rhode Island history, and I came across a chapter in Rhode Island history that very few Rhode Islanders even know about.
You still in that John Dee thing?
Well, I am, as a matter of fact.
I've come across John Dee in my investigations before. He was a talented man of many trades: astronomer, map maker, and advisor to Queen Elizabeth in the late 1500s. Jim says that Dee designed the tower in 1583 and had it placed in Newport to help the Queen establish a land claim here in America. But I don't buy it.
This fellow John Dee was not only the navigational guide, he was the architect of this entire plan to colonize the New World, and I'd claim he was the architect of the tower.
Jim, I know you like this 1583 date, but there's no way that the tower was built then.
Why?
I found a map that has the tower on it that dates to 1569. This map was drawn by Gerardus Mercator in 1569, and it was one of the most significant maps of its time. And he was the first one to coin the term atlas for a collection of maps. and we have what is a sort of crude depiction of the northeast coast of North America. But here we have Narragansett Bay, and take a look right there on the east side of the bay in an area roughly in the area of Newport. Looks to me like a church. Looks very similar to the Newport Tower.
Well, why would he draw a square tower instead of a round tower if this is a depiction of the map of the tower?
This has got a conical-shaped roof here, so that indicates to me that it's a cylinder and that it's round. We have a stone tower that appears to have a first-story ambulatory around the tower. It's an exact duplicate of Cambridge Round Church, which looks exactly like that, but still has the ambulatory attached. The fact that we have the tower depicted on this map proves that the tower was here before 1569. I think it was here long before that, but clearly it's depicted here on a map prior to John Dee and your whole thesis.
So that's just sort of representation of cityness. It has nothing to do with the tower.
I think that maybe what we should do at this point is just respectfully agree to disagree.
I'll agree with that.
Even if the map evidence didn't convince him, the advantage I have over Jim is that I'm a geologist. I know rocks. Of course, being a geologist, as you know, the things that I'm going to gravitate to are
rocks.
The rocks, yeah. And, you know, I've been doing a lot of research into different aspects of this, as you have, and I'm very interested in the two keystones, the only prominent keystones in the tower, the egg shape here,
egg-shaped rock,
and the notch keystone on the outside. Keystones often have a special shape. They're used in buildings to connect the center of an archway. They also have an architectural purpose and sometimes serve as a signature of the builder.
I will agree that these rocks are significant. This egg-shaped rock here is very significant because, as you know, on the winter solstice, the sun comes up, and at about a half an hour after it shines through the west window, it illuminates that rock with a box of light on it. Very dramatic. It is a very important thing in the sense that this building is a calendar, not only to keep track of all of the days of the year, but most importantly, days like Easter. And you know what the symbol for Easter is? That goes all the way back to Mesopotamian times? The egg. I don't really think that John Dee was related at all to the Templar. They have the same tradition of sacred knowledge.
And you don't think there's a connection at all?
Well, the Templars pretty much got obliterated, most of them, in the 1300s, and John Dee was 1500. We were talking 250 years later.
You mentioned that the Templars were put down and destroyed, right?
Right.
Okay, you understand the concept that you can kill people, right?
Right.
But do you think you can kill an ideology or a belief system?
Sure you can. They come and go all of the time.
Well, I maintain that that ideology continued on in secret. And the information is out there, and more of this information about these secret societies that evolved from the Knights Templar. I think the Freemasons are the modern-day keepers of Templar secrets. Many of our nation's founders, such as Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, and George Washington, were Freemasons. The society still exists today, with many prominent men continuing these sacred traditions. And we see a lot of symbols in our society that I think are shared by both the Templars and the Freemasons. To me, this is all evidence that their ideology lived on beyond the people that started it. I'm convinced this is a Templar structure. It's got the architecture that's spot on. It's got the archaeoastronomy features that we know the Templars embraced and would incorporate it into their ancient structures. We've got the solar alignments and, of course, the illumination. We've got symbolism. You've got the egg shape, the Master Mason's keystone.
We read different ways, but that's okay.
But there's something else about the Templars that's very important. They had a reverence for the planet Venus. Venus to them and to many other ancient cultures was a physical manifestation of the goddess in the heavens. Very, very important. So if this was a Templar structure, there should be Venus alignments in this tower, and that's what I want to try to test. I'd like you to help me take some measurements tomorrow. Are you up for it?
Let's give it a test. I'll bring the ladder.
Hey, thanks a lot, Joe.
We'll see you in the morning.
See you in the morning.
Take it easy.
It's been almost 5 years since I started thinking there could be Venus alignments in the tower. I seem to find clues to my Templar theory every time I'm here. I should have known this trip would be no different. Hey, Paul, this is Scott Wolter.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, listen, do you remember that piece of Cumberlandite we looked at your house that night it was there?
Yes.
Where did you find that again?
Well, I found that on an island north of Newport called Prudence Island.
Prudence Island. Well, I tell you what, I think I just found a piece. I know I found a piece here in the Newport Tower.
Really? What do you think that means?
Well, I have some ideas. Could we maybe go there and take a look and see if we could find another piece?
Yeah, sure. Sure. When do you want to go?
As soon as possible. The Newport Tower in Rhode Island is a mysterious structure. I believe it proves that some of the history we've been told about America and who discovered it is wrong. I think this tower was built by the Knights Templar in medieval times as they fled Europe with the Holy Grail. And a key piece to this whole investigation could be a piece of rare rock, Cumberlandite. I think that finding a single block of it placed in the Newport Tower is incredibly significant and could be hidden evidence of Templar beliefs and a trademark of their presence. I'm meeting my buddy Paul, who knows where to find Cumberlandite and can help me show how this clue connects with the Templars.
Now, we're going to Prudence Island. Prudence Island is the second largest island in the bay.
These islands are so strategic and have this rich history, and it certainly makes sense to me that the Templars would have been exploring all around the bay, and they certainly could have found that piece of Cumberlandite that's in the tower.
So, Scott, why are you so interested in the Cumberlandite?
Well, there's a piece of Cumberlandite in the south column of the Newport Tower. It seems to be strategically positioned, and I don't think that's an accident. And the reason I think that that stone is there is that the Templars who built the tower, I think, would have revered this stone. And the reason for that, it has some very unique properties.